We got a lot happening this Sunday morning. Lots happening on the food shortage side. A lot of reports coming from you guys. And a lot happening internationally. Things are just speeding up faster and faster. And hopefully you guys are holding on, taking tangible steps, and being grounded in your faith, being grounded in God. As I always say, faith and action. Faith to ground you, and then action to prepare you and prepare things. So what do we got going on? We have a Chinese aircraft carrier on fire. That's kind of a big deal out there. Canadian Railway loses a bridge. One of their bridges has collapsed. This is a big deal out there too. The United Nations International Atomic Energy Agency has undermined the Ukrainian version of what happened at the Zaporizhia nuclear power plant over in Ukraine. We were telling you should be skeptical. You should be skeptical. And mainstream media is all like, oh, we're just going to take the Ukrainian version of everything. And turns out that was unwise for them to do so. We'll tell you why. And Lebanon goes dark, totally dark, with their last power plant having failed. Let's jump into it. Welcome to the Poplar Report. I'm Steve Poplar. I'm an accountant by trade, and these are your updates that you guys are sending in on what's going on out there in the world, as well as all across the United States, stores, jobs, supply chain, as well as the news front. If you have an update that you'd like to send in, make sure you use the word update, and that will get it to the right place. Put it in a comment on this video or any video on this channel. That all goes to the same place. We do want to thank our sponsor, Genesis Gold Group. They help people with retirement accounts get into something safer. So if you want to just see what you can do with your IRA, you can contact them. You can either call them on the phone number down in the description down below, or you can wait to the end of the video. There'll be a link that you can click on and fill out your information, and they'll get in contact with you. But let's start over in China. They have lost an aircraft carrier. Now, this is not one of their operational carriers. This is the very first carrier that they ever got. It was a tourist attraction that China bought. They bought it under the pretense that they'd turn it into a tourist attraction. So it was a Soviet Kiev-class aircraft carrier. So it's kind of like a battleship with a runway on it. And it used to be called the Minsk. They bought it in order to steal its technology, to understand it, and to they actually did have it actually operational for a bit. That was because they didn't have anything else. They bought it under the under the pretense that they were going to turn it into a tourist attraction. And as soon as they got it, they immediately started making it operational because they wanted to take it out to sea and use it as a warship. Of course, just another example of them stealing / lying about stuff like that. They had a fire, and there's video out there of it just catching on fire, and it's a big deal. It doesn't look like it's going to be floated anytime soon in the future. It was not one of their main carriers. They haven't had it operational as a warship recently, but they have had it parked just in case or whatever. So it has caught on fire and looks like it may be a total loss. Over in Lebanon, all essential facilities are down after a lack of fuel has caused its final power plant to fail. This happened Saturday afternoon. Airport, port, water pumps, prisons, and hospitals, as well as sewage facilities and everything like that, all completely offline now. As recently as this past week, they've been providing only about 5 hours of power as it is. And now they're not providing any because they don't have any fuel. This is going to cause significant problems. We talk about what happens in a grid down situation. We're now seeing that in Lebanon in real time. If you want to see what happens to a society, and now this is a place where they're used to losing power. So a lot of families, a lot of businesses and everything like that are used to operating on generator power for at least a portion of the day. But how do you deliver fuel with no power? How do you repair things with no power? This is a serious situation. It's not directly tied to the Israeli airstrikes, but previous Israeli airstrikes and conflicts have taken out power plants. So that is part of the reason why they only have just a few power plants and now down to just the one, and that one now having failed. Moving over to Canada, a major railway bridge in Canada near the U.S. border has collapsed. It was known as the 5 Mile Bridge. No injuries reported. There did not appear to be a train on top of the on top of the bridge when it collapsed. Maybe a train had just gone over it or something like that. I don't know, but it did snap in half and basically has fallen in. It is a relatively low bridge, but it is used to get over some water, and so that has happened. No word on what kind of time frame it's going to take to get that fixed. The UN International Atomic Energy Agency, their personnel who are on site at the Zaporizhia nuclear power plant and have been so, they have previously documented when the Ukrainians have shelled the facility. They are a neutral party. Okay, so they're not Russian, they're not Ukrainian, they're not either side. They're just there trying to make sure that the Zaporizhia nuclear power plant doesn't go critical. It doesn't cause a nuclear catastrophe. Well, they have shared that a Ukrainian drone dropped a bomb on the Zaporizhia nuclear power plant on Saturday. It damaged the road that the workers take to and from the power plant, and came within 100 meters of the final 750 kilovolt line that goes to the power plant. Now the power plant is shut down. They have all their reactors basically shut down, but they need power in order to keep the place cool. If they don't keep it cool, then the water can boil off and expose the fuel to the air. Now this goes for the expended fuel rods in storage. That they need the pumps to keep the water circulating and keep it cooling. If they lose power, that's where you could see these things go into a meltdown, right? So they cannot not be exposed to air. They cannot, because if they do, they go into meltdown. So they need the power coming in. There are other power lines that have gone into the power plant, but other ones have been damaged. Ukraine has apparently targeted these power lines in the intent to cause Russia to have to do something about this or whatever, right? But the final 750 kilovolt power line was almost taken out by this most recent airstrike. And this just goes to show, when it comes to things, it always seems that the Ukrainian version seems to be further from the truth than the Russian version. And that's not to say that the Russian version is correct. The Russians have a tendency to leave things out. The Ukrainians have a tendency to just fabricate things whole cloth. And quite frankly, as we're hearing about this Kursk offensive, the Russians are coming out and saying basically it wasn't as much of a large-scale invasion as it was a whole bunch of small saboteur groups that moved into Russia, and the Russians are having a hard time finding them. That they're running into villages, taking pictures of themselves in places, posting them on social media, and then disappearing before the Russian troops can get there. And so you're seeing a lot of these pictures out there of like Ukrainians like, look, we've captured this village. And then immediately, hours later, we're getting Russians taking pictures in the same place and going like, they're not here. Like, we don't know what they're talking about. And like I said, the fog of warfare, especially in an invasion like this, there's a lot of misinformation being intentionally put out there by both sides, and it's hard to see who's telling the truth, which parts of this are true. But when it comes to the nuclear power plant in Zaporizhia, it seems like the Russians are more accurate than the Ukrainians in this. So no word from the International Atomic Energy Agency that this airstrike caused the fire at the cooling tower. If I had to take my guess at what happened, was this airstrike almost took out the power lines, and the Russians, in frustration, this happened on Saturday, this airstrike. On Sunday is when we saw the smoke coming out of the cooling tower. It looks like maybe the Russians set this fire in order to get the Ukrainians to stop attacking the power plant. Draw international attention to it so that the Ukrainians felt pressured not to continue attacking the power plant. I don't know. That's my guess on it. But once again, it's hard to tell with all these things. Let's get into your reports here. Taylor says Walmart in Northwest Ohio had all their GV rice discounted, and it was gone. So we're seeing this elsewhere where the Great Value brand rice is being discounted because it looks like, from what we're hearing, Walmarts or some Walmarts are going to stop carrying the 20-pound bags of rice, which is going to make it harder to get stocked up for sure. This is definitely a blow to anyone who's trying to get stocked up. Was lucky to find 2 5-pound bags on the shelf. Now, I'm guessing they probably still keep carrying the 5-pound bags, which will still be a pretty good deal compared to other places, but we may have to look more towards Sam's Club and Costco in order to get big bulk rice orders or other suppliers. Call Me Ishmael says South Jersey seeing a lot of used work trucks for sale. And that is concerning because obviously if people are stopping working in trades particularly, has anyone tried to get anyone to do like HVAC systems or any kind of trades recently, plumbing, construction, handyman stuff? It's getting really hard to find anyone who actually will come out and even give you a bid on things. Our church has had problems, and it's just like we can't get anyone to come out to even give us a bid. You're trying to get 2 or 3 bids, and you can only get like one person to come out in the first place. WWIII says, I travel for work quite a bit in western Missouri and southeastern Kansas. Walmart in Fort Scott, Kansas is undergoing a remodel. I have noticed food shelves are bare. All Keystone canned meats are gone. Coffee is low, and baking supplies are also low. That's in the Midwest there. JL says, on the egg shortages, expect more egg shortages in fall as the hens start the molting process and egg production slows or stops in some cases. Now, of course, they're probably using lights to extend that, but remind everyone that they can freeze eggs for when the supplies are low. Once again, you don't want to probably just take the eggs and just stick them in the freezer. What you want to do is you crack them open. If you have an ice cube tray, those things work well. Also, you can get the what I use is the silicone muffin trays. You can get the silicone muffin trays for pretty cheap, and then you put the eggs in the silicone muffin trays, and then you freeze them, and then you can pop them out and stick them into Ziploc bags. That's a great way to go. If you really want them to last really, really long, if you can separate the yolks from the whites, that will make it last even longer. Moving on here, Ronnie, our church just canceled services for the morning because of a number of new people getting sick from the virus outbreaks, the cough. So this is in Mena, Arkansas. We're talking about a lot of people starting to get sick again with the Rona. And that is, the CDC is out there saying, hey, cases are up, and are they going to try using that as justification for more lockdowns, closing down things? I don't know. I just want to keep you up on what's going on out there. Matthew, on just yesterday at 4:15 Eastern, locals in Byron, Georgia are reporting all stations except one along I-75 are out of gasoline. So not sure why there's a gasoline shortage out there, whether just some shipments have been missed or what, but that's a lot of gas stations that we're talking about on I-75. Helen, power outages in several power companies in Northwest Arkansas. I looked into it. I'm not seeing a lot of people without power, but we'll keep on that and keep our heads up on that to see if there's more outages than normal on that. Fireflight over in Sydney, Australia. Eggs have been very low on the shelves at my 2 local supermarkets for about a month. 2 per person limit for several months. Today the shelves were totally bare of eggs except for cartons with broken eggs in it. Of course, they're having a lot bigger problems over there in Australia with the eggs, but egg shortage here in the United States has gone to a whole different level just recently, just in the last couple days. Jank, 2 carton limit on eggs in Sam's Club in San Angelo, Texas. Walmart and Lowe's grocery. Lowe's is not a, well, okay, maybe Lowe's is a grocery store down there. Okay, Walmart and Lowe's grocery store has also has low supply also. And Augustine, Dothan, Alabama. I went to Sam's again yesterday. Still no canned beef. It's been missing for months now. Scarlet Prepper also chimed in, no canned beef at Sam's in Tyler, Texas today either. So canned beef is disappearing out there. We're going to be having a major beef shortage happening in the near future. So that is something that you want to get stocked up on canned beef now while you still have the chance. Keystone is still my go-to, but there are other brands out there if you prefer those. Be sure to, if you're going to commit to a brand, crack open one of the cans and check it out and see. If you get like one that's dented or something like that, that's a good one to open up and check to see what's actually on the inside. How much water, how much actual beef, and might want to measure it yourself and then use that information to shop more effectively. All right, friends, please do keep your reports coming in. Appreciate all of you chiming in on that. Hopefully you have a good Sunday today. I'm going to be on my way over to church myself, if you do church or if you spend some time in the Word or whatever you're doing to keep your faith nice and grounded. If you want to get some more information from Genesis Gold about what you can do with your retirement account, there's a link right there. If you want to check out another video from this channel, there's one right up here. I'll see you over there, or I'll see you guys later. Steve Poplar of the Poplar Report, out.